Good morning, TikTok. Today we have some news regarding the ICC and the ICJ. As you may have heard, Karim Khan is seeking warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu, Yoav Gallant, Yahya Sinwar, and other members of the Hamas governing body. Karim Khan is the ICC prosecutor who is handling the war crimes case. Specific crimes charged against Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant are crimes against humanity, causing a famine, extermination of people, and other very humiliating things. Now, if you remember, there were a couple of senators that tried to shake down Karim Khan and tell him that if he did anything, that they would come after him and his family, essentially. And to that he responded, "Fuck you, you bought-off sycophant pieces of shit." And when it's put like that, you make a real good point, you know? During the course of the announcement, which was read very much like an indictment would be read if they were going to read it, or if a warrant was issued from a federal government spokesperson. And it was read while standing at a podium and stating specifically the crimes and the charges. The crimes are extermination, failure to protect civilians. It is a man-made famine. It was shutting off water, because Israel has control of all the water that goes into Gaza. It was control of electricity, because Israel has control of all the electricity that goes into Gaza. They closed down all the borders, which are typically always closed to begin with, and they have deliberately attacked humanitarian workers, and most of the evidence will come directly from eyewitnesses and from these people themselves. Their statements are all over. Arrest warrants were also issued for Yahya Sinwar and other leaders in the Hamas party, deservedly so, for the atrocities that were committed on October 7th. But one atrocity does not make another atrocity okay. Additionally, international law states that as an occupying force, there really is no right to defend yourself against those people that you are occupying. Of course, everybody has the right to defend itself, but when it comes to you subjugating and occupying people, there is no right of self-defense to that, because it's been determined by humanity that fighting oppression is a just cause. Gallant is very concerned about this and has been doing everything he can to stop this, everything he can in recent times to try to distance himself from Netanyahu, but that's not working. Now, in Israel, this is considered a humiliation, and it's considered absolutely a shock. Keep in mind, Israel is the reason the Genocide Convention was created, and so being accused of being that same gruesome murderer that you were at one point exposed to is really shameful. Additionally, you'll find a lot of conservative Israeli media saying that this is all because of the fact that really the world is just anti-Semitic and that Israel should be able to exterminate people. They're Israelis. They have that right, and they have the autonomy to be able to kill whomever they want. Food aid workers, medical workers, academics, educators, whoever they want, children, anybody they want, and it should be okay, because for some reason or another, it is anti-Semitic to say that killing children is bad. And we're talking about 3 school buses of kids a day. There is no war in recorded history that has exterminated so many children. So let's talk about what we think will happen. What will happen? Likely nothing. The United States is not a part of the ICC, the International Criminal Court. They're not a party to it. They're not a party to the Rome Statute. As a result, telling Karim Khan what he should do by some senators here is the equivalent of, some judge in Washington state calling Kazakhstan and being like, yeah, you need to be easy on the weed charge that guy has over there. Doesn't work. They have no say. They have no authority. And they really have no intellect. I mean, Tom Cotton, for example, is the perfect example of a government official. Mediocrity. Israel won't honor these warrants. However, there are 144 countries that will. And the balance of the 144 leaves 40 countries left that any people who had a warrant issued for them by the International Criminal Court will be arrested. They are obligated to arrest that person. So it's not like these people can travel with these warrants outstanding for risk that they might be arrested if they enter that state. Herzog, for example, when he went to Switzerland, I believe, had warrants for his arrest. And that was the president of Israel when the war started. He's no longer the president. What I think should happen is I think Hamas should surrender themselves immediately. I think that the leaders who had warrants for their arrest need to go to the International Criminal Court and surrender themselves. If you want to show the world that there is really no moral equivalency between you and Israel, being that you are the moral high ground and they are now the pariah, you need to surrender yourself. You need to surrender yourself and put up a defense that explains resistance. Failing to surrender yourself would make you the same smug thug that Netanyahu and Gallant are. And that is something that it seems that you've been trying to avoid. However, the world sees you as a pariah, just like Israel. Which is why there are so many people out there saying just let them kill each other. So show them who the pariah is and who's not. Surrender yourself to the Hague. All this being said, this is a warrant application. Judges at the International Court of Justice have to review the warrant applications and sign off on them. Have the warrants actually been issued? No. Have they been written up by the prosecutor? Yes. Now we just wait and see what happens.